Namaste, my dear teachers, and welcome to all my dear beloved 10th class students. Well, in this video, we are going to learn about the new question paper pattern, and especially we will try to cover in this video related to the section A, reading comprehension. If you look at the paper ones, reading comprehension will be for 30 marks, vocabulary and grammar will be for 40 marks, and the creative expressions will be for 30 marks. Well, now let's look at the section A, reading comprehension for 30 marks. The first question would be from Prose. You'll get a passage from any of the Prose lessons, and each question carries 2 marks. That means 5 questions and 10 marks. And the second question is from poetry. You may get one stanza from any of the poems from first flight, and each question carries 1 mark, and so that will get 5 marks. And the third question is from supplementary reader, and you'll get a passage from any of the lessons from supplementary reader and for 5 marks. And the fourth one is study skills, especially you'll get a pie chart or bar chart or a tree diagram for 5 marks. It's easier, I can say this is a bonus. And the fourth one is jumbled sentences. What you have to do is you have to read an unfamiliar story and you have to arrange the sentence in an order. Well, now let's work and see what are the various types of questions we may get under section A for reading comprehension. So, well, here is the first question. Read the following passage carefully. Now, first you have to read the paragraph and try to understand the paragraph clearly. Now, let's read. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His 2 brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and mother had come around calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him, he could not move. So this passage is from his first flight. It's all about the young seagull. Now let's look at the questions. Why was the seagull alone on his ledge? So you have to find the keywords, like you have to find the reason why the seagull was alone on his ledge. So the keywords here are seagull and alone on his ledge. What did the young seagull fail to do? The first two questions would be uh, descriptive questions, short answer questions. You have to find the answers and you have to write well. The third question and fourth and fifth are MCQs. How were the wings of his brothers and sister? Option A, too strong. B, too short. C, too long. So how did he feel when he tried to fly? Option A, he was excited. B, he was afraid. C, he was very happy. Now the fifth question would be, which of the following statement is true? The young seagull is not content of flying. B, the young seagull is not interested to fly. Option C, his brothers and sisters are also not content of flying. So just try to answer the questions. Now let's check for the answers. Hope you are doing. So why was the seagull alone on his ledge? Because his two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. What did the young seagull fail to do? He failed to muster up courage to take that plunge. How were the wings of his brothers and sister? Too short. How did he feel when he tried to fly? He was afraid. So which of the following statement is true? It is the young seagull is not confident of flying. Right? So you have to be careful while attempting this, because if you do one mistake, you will lose 2 marks. So be careful. Now let's look at the another question from poem. Read the following stanza carefully. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. So what do fire and ice represent? What is the central idea of the poem? Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. Identify the figure of speech used in the above line. Is it a simile or imagery or personification? The phrase I hold with those means to grab them or to abstract them or to support them. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? Is it ABAB or ABCD or ABAA? So now read the stanza again and try to find the questions. And before doing this question related to poem, you have to know the central idea, you have to know the rhyme scheme, and you know that you should focus on the figures of speech. So now I hope you are all ready with your answers. Now let's check the answers with what you have done. So what do fire and ice represent? Fire represents violent human emotions, or you can say the desires, whereas ice represents cool feelings like indifferences. And what is the central idea of the poem? According to the poet, fire represents the desire and ice represents hatred. He says both fire and ice are equally destructive. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. The figure of speech is imagery. The phrase I hold with those means, here it is to support them. The rhyme scheme of the poem is, the option is ABAA, because fire and ice, it is B. And desire and fire, it all represents like AA. So the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, A. Now the third question is from Supplementary Reader. Uh, Read the following passage carefully. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. I sat up on the floor, considering the situation. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. My hands slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by a string of my pajamas. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes, 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. So this poem is from the thief story. This passage is from the thief story. Now let's look at the questions. What was Anil doing? Look at the options: observing Hari, sleeping peacefully, or dreaming about Hari. 12th question. I crept up to the bed. Why did he creep up to bed? To help Anil? To kill Anil? Or to steal Anil's money? How could he live if he had $600? Like a king? Like an Arab for a week? Or like a rich oil Arab for whole life? How did Anil get money? By stealing someone? Or he got his salary? Or by writing a book? So which of the following statement is true? Hari Singh missed the train, so he returned to room. Hari Singh stole money for the first time. Hari Singh realized his mistake and came back. So I hope you can answer these questions very easily. So the first one is, what was Anil doing? He was sleeping peacefully. And why did he creep up to bed? To steal Anil's money. It's option C. And how could he live if he had $600? Yes, the option is B, like an Arab oil for a week. And how did Anil get money? By writing a book. So which of the following statement is true is, Hari Singh realized his mistake and came back. Now this question is related to study skills. It's quite easy. Study the following pie chart carefully and you should know the title. It is marketing budget. So what does the pie chart show? It will be the first response. And how much percentage of budget is spent on online advertising? The maximum percentage of time is spent on, of money is spent on online advertisement or conventions or print advertisement. Total budget is spent on dash number of issues. Is it 3, 2 or 4? Choose the correct statement based on the pie chart. The least amount is spent on print advertisement. The highest amount is spent on online advertisement. The amount spent on online advertisement is more than print advertisement. So if you look at the pie chart carefully, you can write all the questions easily. Now let's check with your answers. Yes, it shows the marketing budget. How much percentage? If you look at the pie chart, you can easily understand it is 24%. So the maximum percentage of budget is spent on. If you look at it is 40%, it is conventions. And total budget is spent on how many sectors or categories? You can find 4 categories. So the last one would be the amount spent on online advertisement is more than print advertisement. Okay? So now let's look at the last question. Read the following passage carefully. So this question is related to jumbled exchanges. So try to read the story and understand. And if you find the first sentence, automatically you can find the answers quite easily. Now let's look at this. On a bright sunny morning, Sindhu decided to go for a walk in the nearby park. She quickly dressed up in her favorite sports outfit and put on her running shoes. As she stepped out, she noticed a gentle breeze that made the trees away. The park was not too far, just a 10-minute walk from her house. When she arrived, she was greeted by the sight of children playing, people jogging, and birds chirping. She felt a sense of calm wash over her. After a while, she found a quiet spot under a large oak tree and sat down to relax. She watched the clouds float by and listened to the sounds of nature. It was the perfect way to start the day. So now arrange the following jumbled sentence into a meaningful order. So you first try to read the story or the passage which was given, and later on you have to read these options and you have to find where this sentence is, so that you can easily find out which is number one and which is number two or three or four, five, like that. So Sindhu found a quiet spot under a large oak tree? No. The park was just a 10-minute walk from her house? No. Sindhu decided to go for a walk in the nearby park. Okay, this might be, and especially you have to find out which one would be first and in the paragraph. So you can find Sindhu decided to go for a walk in the nearby park. So like that, when she arrived, she saw children playing and people jogging. When she arrived, she saw children playing and people jogging. So now let's find out these answers. So this is how you have to find it out. So Sindhu found a quiet spot. The park was just a 10-minute walk. Sindhu decided to go for a walk. She quickly dressed up and put on her running shoes. If you look at the first one, Sindhu decided to go for a walk in the nearby park. So C is the first option, so you have to write first C. And then next, which sentence did you find? She quickly dressed up in her and put on her running shoes. Yes, that's second one. And the next one is, the park was not too far. It was just a 10-minute. See, you can easily find this. And the next one, when she arrived, she was greeted by the sight of children playing and jogging. And finally, she found a quiet spot under a large oak tree and sat down. This is how you can find. So now these are the options. So first, C, E, B, D, A. That is the order. So that's all for today, and we'll meet in the next class with section B, grammar.